Hello.
Hey, everybody. How's it going? Thank you guys so much for being here. I can already tell that you're an incredible audience.
Yeah, this is already fun. What a day. It's a fun day. It's a good day.
Yeah, we're going to have a really exciting night. We're going to chat. We're going to have a little time for audience questions. Maybe you'll get to hear a little music.
Definitely. Hard yes. Hard yes.
So let's get right into it. You know, girl, you have been busy.
Yes.
Did anybody catch her on the Today Show today?
I also, after that, I did a signing at Rough Trade, and I saw so many of you, and we were all thawing together because it was so much colder than we all anticipated, and you guys were in it a lot longer than I was. So thank you for hanging out in the very chilly weather this morning.
Yeah, it's been a good day, I think, for you guys. But you know, Patterns is your third.
Hi, baby.
Patterns is your. Oh, hi, buddy. Should we?
I'm like, squirrel? She's beautiful. You're welcome. Okay, sorry, I'm here. So it's been a long day. I told you I was going to be in a silly
backstage.
mood.
Kelsey was like, I might get silly. Like that was a bad thing.
Yeah, I was like, I'm either going to just accidentally doze off, or I'm going to just be in a really silly mood. So that's the path.
Either way, I've not put anyone to sleep during an interview yet.
No, you're amazing. It's a me problem always.
I do want to ask Patterns. We met last year, and Patterns is the third album that you've released in 2 years. That is pretty productive. What made you want to jump into songwriting at a pace like this?
Well, I don't stop writing. I mean, I don't really think about starting and stopping per project. Patterns was a little bit different because I did have to take a beat after Welcome Matt, because it just kind of shifted everything in my life personally and obviously making music-wise. But writing songs is it's my job. It's the core of everything I do. It's truly the heartbeat of everything else that I've gotten to branch out into. But it's my love. It is the love of my life, is writing songs and poetry and writing. Just writing is, I think, a gift that God or the universe or whatever you believe in just handed down to me as a little 12, 13-year-old that needed somewhere to put my really big feelings. And so, yeah, I think I've always just leaned into it. And when it's time to make a record, I'll listen to whatever has happened and whatever I've written the last year and a half, 2 years, and figure out how that fits. But this one is a bit different in that way.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad you mentioned the kind of way that Rolling Up the Welcome Mat kind of rejiggered your life, because it was released last year, and it hit such a chord with fans. What did you learn from that experience? You kind of maybe weren't expecting it even.
It was
that way.
The biggest surprise of my life. I mean, forgive me because I feel like I don't want to get redundant, but I do mean this, and it's really important for me to say, because I had just put out an album called Subject to Change that we poured all of the label and management and all that, all of our blood, sweat, tears and manpower behind. And as that was getting released, my personal life was changing. And so, like I was just saying, I was doing what I always do, and I was writing about it very quietly as I was promoting a record that already kind of felt a little bit outdated to me. And it was the first time that I didn't round the edges. It was the first time that I left details in, and I was a bit more, is harsh the word? Maybe harsh is the word. But it wasn't for the sake of shock and awe. It was for the sake of honesty, and just I was angry and I was confused and I was all these things, and I just dumped it. And then I put it out with the intention of letting it be quiet, just in case it found someone that needed it or wanted it. And then I would go back to If You Go Down, I'm Going Down Too, and Heart First, and That Whole World, and Muscle Memory. And it just didn't work out like that. And so I still feel like I'm playing catch up, really.
Yeah, when you talked about that album, you didn't think of it as a commercial endeavor, really. But how did you approach Patterns? Did you think about it differently then after that, after you took a beat?
Yeah, it was the first time that I was this level of scared to make an album. And it's my 5th album, and I feel I've had to take a couple minutes today just quietly to myself to be like, hey, not a lot of people get to make 5 albums. I've gotten to make 5 albums. And like, if I could go back and tell that 12-year-old girl that just got that gift of songwriting and clung to it like a little life buoy, that I would get to do that, I mean, I would be the happiest girl in the world. And so I have to hold on to that gratitude. But in the same breath, there was a lot of fear around it, because what Welcome Mat did, I feel like the people that have been with me and listened to music together and gone to the shows with me and all that stuff for 10 years, they were like, oh yeah, this makes sense. We know her. This is cool. But there was a whole other group of people that were like, who's this girl on TikTok singing Penthouse? And and everyone was like, what's happening? And so I felt this responsibility to both sides of that, to to everyone that found Love Me Like You Mean It 10 years ago, and then to the people that just found Penthouse. And I wanted to honor both groups of people, and mostly myself. And finding that dance took help, and it took help from 4 women that I made this album with.
Yeah, you've talked in the past about really being certain to make a song, to write a song on your own on each album. And this album, again, was a little bit different because you worked with a team of all women collaborators.
Yeah. One thing about me is my favorite way to write a song is to get with people in a room that feels safe, and there's a friendship there, and you take the first 2 hours and you just catch up. You're talking about their kids, you're talking about what's going on in your family, in your relationship, and then like maybe you have a sneaky glass of wine, maybe you don't, I don't know. It's to each their own. And then you get a little bit deeper, and then you write the song, because then it's not like we go in at 11, someone has to leave at 3, and we have to have a demo by then. I've done it like that, and I think that works absolutely for some people, and you get beautiful hit songs, and that's great. But for me personally as an artist, I have felt like the most honest and fruitful moments of my records have not happened that way. So I made this record with those 4 women, and we went away on these retreats. Girls trips. and it was truly, and that's what made it so beautiful. It was, every single song was rooted in womanhood. It really was. And I feel like even though there's only one very obvious song on the record that's about friendship, which is I Would You, the whole thing has an undertone of this warmth and this womanhood and this sisterhood and camaraderie and like sturdiness. And that comes from being held by and with those women.
And one of them was, the Nashville legend, Hillary Lindsey.
I would die for Hillary Lindsey. I mean, her and Kelly Clarkson, they're just on a different level for me. I found them at around that age when I was just falling deeply, madly in love with music. And for some reason, both of them in different ways, Kelly is an artist, Hillary is a songwriter, they just really impacted me so deeply. And so to have worked with both of them in these capacities is very full circle, very kismet. She's also so funny. Hillary is so funny. We call her Gina. Yeah. If you ever meet Hillary, just be like, "Hi, Gina." She's gonna be like, "What happened? Well, how do you know that? I'm scared."
I feel like there's like a blooper reel of these girls' trips that you maybe.
There's a lot of content. There's a lot of content. It's not all okay.
I'm glad you mentioned Kelly Clarkson, because one of the things that I've thought about with you is like you have this sense of ambition where like on the one hand you want to be this kind of like Shania Twain daredevil where you're flying into a show on a motorcycle, and like one does, and then also like Kelly where you're totally open and vulnerable and like performing barefoot on a stage and kind of spilling it all, and I think you managed to marry some of that, marry that. What do you guys think? Those two.
It is important to me. I mean, I grew up going to shows at Thompson Bowling Arena in Knoxville. My first show was Britney Spears, the Oops, I Did It Again tour. It was iconic. I still remember so much of it. But I remember especially going to shows by women, because that was always what I was drawn to. And I always loved like the pyro and like the hydraulic lift when you see the person coming up very slow with like fog and you're like, oh, like it's just such a moment, you know? And I always loved that as a fan and wanted to get to that place as an artist. But at the same time, one of the most impactful moments in my whole life was at a Kelly Clarkson show in Knoxville. And it was her Behind These Hazel Eyes tour. The air conditioning was out in the venue. It was so hot. People were lined up during the show to get like water on their face in the bathroom. And she was on stage sweating, sounding better than the record. And then she stopped and she said, if y'all could smell me right now, none of you would be here. And she broke the fourth wall, and I never seen an artist do that yet. And so my like brain that was still developing was just infatuated with both feelings. And so I think naturally I always try to find that dance of both.
And you know, you like you said, you had the goal of doing pyro, of doing a lift and playing an arena, and now you're headlining Madison Square Garden.
Yes, ma'am.
Like you manifested that / you worked your butt off.
Yes. Yes. I mean, I am a Virgo. We know. I'm a Virgo, and I am a planner, and I do believe in like the law of attraction. And when you're working towards things and you're saying it out loud and you believe in it and you're putting the actions behind it, I believe there's power in that. But yeah. But I also want to say, I mean, it's been a journey, you know. I've been doing this with records out for 10 years. And even if I'm just taking New York, which I love New York, if I'm just taking New York, I started at the Gramercy, and then I played Irving. Was anyone there? Remember the fire alarm? And then the memes. And then I did the Best Buy Theater, PlayStation Theater. And then I did Radio City. Amazing. And then as an opener, I did Jones Beach, I think 4 times. I did Starland Ballroom in Jersey a bunch. I did Barclays opening, I think twice. And so I did I did every step. And my goal was to do that, you know, because I knew that if I ever got to jump to a room like an arena, like a Madison Square Garden, I wanted to do it right. And I wanted to do it right in the way of building it correctly and sustainably, and knowing that that I wasn't gonna, there's not a lot of women that have jumped to arenas in country music historically. And I knew that if I was gonna do that, I needed to do it to honor the genre and to honor women and to do it right for all of us. And so I've always been very protective of that. And I do feel like it's now or never. So we're doing it. Tour goes on sale next week. Kill me. I'm kidding.
I mean, it is. You got to put the hours in.
Yes, yes.
What just happened?
No, I'm in a silly, goofy mood. I'm hot all of a sudden. I don't know.
You talked in the video about the duality in some of the lyrics,
Mm-hmm.
and we're hearing, you know, the duality in some of your approach now. And I'm curious, like looking at two sides of a story, two perspectives, does that kind of help you open up ideas musically or production-wise?
Yes, and I think that originated from my therapist. I have 2. Her name's Beth, and it was years ago. And I think for me, I tend to, like, as far as emotions and trying to figure out a solution, I'm very singular. I'm like, okay, well, I need an answer. What is it? And she's like, 2 things can be true. There is a lot of space for reality to happen where there's more than one answer, more than one feeling, and you have to hold space for it. And that was really hard for me, but that has helped me a lot. And so I do think duality really started showing up on Subject to Change, I would argue. There's a lot of kind of that dark and light and that push and pull. certainly on this record, I have a good relationship with that now. My favorite example on this record is in First Rodeo. It's like, it's that that timidness and that place of coming from like scarcity, really, and being like, I love love so much, so much. But when I wrote that song and what I was writing it about, I was like, man, I'm scared. I don't like saying that. Like, I like to be the girl that sings Miss Me More. Like, you know, like with the pyro. Like, I'm not scared of anything. I was like, I'm really scared, man. I'm scared. And I don't want to get hurt again. I don't want to hurt someone again. But I love love. And if we do this, can you take it slow with my heart? And can we just try to do this right and rework the idea of what this looks like and all that stuff? And then baggage, I would say, is the opposite of that, where it's like, I'm showing up, here it is, I'm airing it out. And if you want that welcome mat, roll it out with me, let's go. And so she's like the more confident version of that same feeling. And I think they both coexisted together at the same time. And depending on the day or the moment or whatever, you know, I would live in one more than the other. But there is duality through the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, we contain multitudes, as they say. But like, especially for female singer-songwriters, people assume that the songs are all about you. Are you the narrator of all your songs?
Yeah, I don't know how to not be, at least for now. I mean, I would love the challenge of writing for a film. That's always been a dream of mine. Like, if someone can send me a film and they're like,
manifest.
Yeah,
here it comes.
I will. We're right now together. Like, write a title track. That sounds like so much fun. And I would love to eventually down the road, I think, be more involved in writing with and for artists. I think, honestly, being a coach on The Voice has really made me just be like, I want to get so much more involved on that side of things one day. Not yet. But yeah, that was a long-winded answer. Sorry. Spiraling.
The Voice has been kind of an interesting place for you to sit too, right? You discovered some things about your relationship to artists in that experience. I've
always been drawn to like women's music, obviously, but I didn't realize how protective, like fiercely protective I am of like young women making music. And so my biggest fear and insecurity going into taping this season, by the way, we're done until the lives. So I have 2 people left on my team. Like, we're there. Yes, it's so good. But my biggest insecurity was, okay, I'm with Adam Levine, I'm with John Legend, I'm with Michael Bublé. I grew up on their music. I've seen all of them in concert. And I was worried that being a newer artist, being a younger artist, that I wouldn't have as much oomph, like I wouldn't have as much to offer people. And so it was really hard for me to fight for these artists, because I was like, fair enough, I would go with him too. Like, I get it. Like, you know, until it was a young girl. And then I would be like, yo, I see you, because I am you, and I have been you, and I right now, being 31, like I'm still closer to what you are about to walk through, even being on the blinds right now. And I immediately felt myself being like, I want to coach you and help you have like moments on this show, but like I want to protect you within this process. And yeah, I feel like I learned how much of a heart I have for that. And I don't know what that will turn into, but it was really good to learn about myself, to figure out that could be a passion moving forward in some way.
Yeah, but you started really young. I mean, you moved to Nashville when you were 15.
Yeah.
And you had this sense, this like inner, you know, tingly something that you were going to...
The knowingness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, you know, Nashville as a country scene especially can be kind of rule bound, especially for a female artist, a young female artist. Did you know, as an artist who like pretty early on had that sense, knew what you wanted, did you feel like you could fit in there?
To Nashville? It's all I ever wanted. I mean, it's still all I want. And there are days that I feel like I do, and there are days that I feel like I don't. And that's the truth. I would love to say that on my 5th album, I feel like I have a seat at the table. And I think some days I still wonder. if that seat is there for me. But what I'm in control of is everything I do. I try to honor country music, and I try to honor songwriting and the heart and the art of what I do and what has inspired me to do what I do. And at the end of the day, I can hang my hat on that, you know? And I hope that people love it. Like I hope that today the album comes out and you really love it. Like I do. I do. And I also, in the same breath, like I hope country radio plays Cowboys Cry too, please. Please. And you know, I hope that people, like the reviewers, hear the record and love it, like obviously. But at the end of the day, I just try to do the next right thing, and that is like making music that I can hang my hat on, that I feel like is honest and credible and inspiring to me and the people I make it with. That's what's right while it's in the tank. And then when I hand it off into the world, I just have a nice little anxiety attack and then it's out of my hands.
Do you dream in songwriting? Do you dream in lyrics and melody?
I don't dream. I don't sleep. No, I really don't dream. But I will say the best ideas for me, and this is a very millennial thing of me, and I know that, my best ideas are always in the shower or driving. And it's because I don't have my phone. And it's so true. It's like when you free your mind to actually just wander and look around when you're driving and have that space, that's always when like the best stuff happens, for me at least, which is telling that I should probably check my what do you call it? Your score? Yeah. Luckily, I don't have my phone out here, so no one can ask because I don't want to know. I don't want to have to tell you.
But you've also been really always a person who had like a visual sense. You talked about your ideas for the show. We saw it in the video, your vision for the video. You work with Patrick Tracy as creative director, but
yeah, Pat's here. Yay, Pat.
Was that always something that you kind of felt confident about in bringing to the table, your visual ideas or your aesthetic sense?
I wish I had that sense. I forget what the name is, but when you hear music, you see color. I don't have that, and I so badly wish I did. But I do feel like when I write songs, I'm always trying to envision not the moment that I'm writing it about, but how I want to repaint it, I guess, like in an artistic way. And finding a creative partner in that way, just like a songwriter, a co-writer, it's so important, and it's so nice to like cultivate that relationship. And Pat has done my music videos and tour content and all that stuff for a couple of records now. He did all of Rolling Up the Welcome Mat, and to be able to have that collaboration it's so important to me. And I think it is that way because when I moved to Nashville, I was 15. And we moved at the beginning of summer, and my mama, she had a full-time job, and so she was gone every weekday, from 9 to 5, and I couldn't drive because I was 15, and I'm not a rule breaker. And so I would wake up, and we moved to do music. So I had this self-put weight on my shoulders to figure it out. And so at the time, every morning I would get up, and I would put on CMT or GAC at the time, and I would flip back and forth, and at the end of every music video there would be the producers, there would be the label, the songwriters at the little credits, and I'd write it all down, and then I'd go up to my mom's MacBook and I'd Google everything. I took myself to school that summer, and that was what I knew that I could do to move myself in a direction, at least to learn about how things worked from the outside looking in. And so I think visually that was kind of just like in my brain for the longest time, and I knew I wanted to always tell that story well.
Yeah, you mentioned, the idea of collaborators for you, like, of course, the people that you songwrite, but on Cowboys Cry Too, it's a collab with Noah Kahan. Yeah. And how do you...
Yeah, we stand Noah in this house.
When you're thinking about somebody that you might want to partner with in that way, do you just like imagine your voices together? Is it a vibe? What is it?
Well, I think, first of all, it was being a fan of him. That whole record, obviously Stick Season, the song, but the whole record, it's so, he's such a songwriter. And he's such a, like, in-depth, big feeler songwriter. And when I met him at the Grammys last year, I fangirled, as I do, we know. And he immediately came back with, like, hey, Kelsey, when did you write Peter Pan? And I was floored that he knew that song, and it was an older song, and we just connected on a songwriting level, exchanged numbers. He lives in Nashville. We're like, let's go, let's double date, let's get the dogs together, let's grill out in the backyard. Stick Season's on every playlist, so that's gonna be really fun to watch happen. And and then I had Cowboys Cry Too, which was already produced at the time. Like me and Elisa had written it. It was already cut with musicians. It was done, going to mixing. And we knew it was a contender for first single, but I didn't think it was strong enough yet. And I thought that idea of presenting like a woman's perspective of toxic masculinity, it could mean more if I also had his perspective on it. And so I shot my shot, as I do. I slide into DMs. I send text messages. I don't care. And luckily he heard the song and understood the heart of it, and then shared his perspective. And he wrote his verse on the road, and we got together in Nashville at the studio, and he sang it word for word. And I was just like, I'm so grateful that he made it so much better. And what's important for me to tell you is that every collaboration is different. Like we've talked about this before, and they all have value and experience. But it means so much when you get to work with someone that is a great person. And he is such a great human being that has had this massive 2 years. But at the end of the day, he's just a warm, lovely human being that loves music and loves his family and his dog and his fiance and his his hometown, and I think that is what makes me so proud to have a song with him.
We will have audience questions in a minute, but I did want to ask about the idea of the first single. Let's talk about the song "Sorry, Mom."
Yes, please.
As a parent, other parents in the audience, like, what if your child just said sorry sometimes? Amazing.
My mom's like, finally.
That song, if you guys haven't heard it, it's kind of a letter to your mom. What did she say when she heard it?
Well, so the story of her hearing it is I was still on the retreat. I have 3 people now that I send my demos to, no matter how rough they are, because I know they'll be honest with me. And it's my best friend, Kelly, who helped me A&R this record, actually, for the first time. And I'm very proud of that. My mama and Chase. And he's also very honest, which I appreciate. And it just so happened that I was on this retreat, the first retreat that I took with the 4 women that I made this record with. And Sorry Mom was the first song that we wrote. And I was so excited about it. Like, I loved it. I was so proud of the heart of it. I felt like it still had the edges, and I didn't round the edges, but it wasn't about anything that was in the past. And so I sent it to Chase. And he was at dinner with my mom. And Kenny Chesney having margaritas in Nashville. And so I sent it to Chase and I said, hey, honey, when y'all leave, here's a new song. Will you listen to it with Mom? And then I texted my mom, and this is pretty early on too. I texted my mom and I was like, hey, I just wrote a song for you. It's a love letter to you. I sent it to Chase, so he's gonna play it for you. And then Kenny was just like, I want to hear it. And so it was a beautiful moment between them. And then she reached out to me and she was like, you have nothing to be sorry for. And it was a really, nothing ever went wrong in our relationship. Like I've always been very, very close with my mom, but it was still a weirdly healing conversation that we were able to have.
Yeah. That's lovely. And we saw Chase in the video. Is this an album about love?
Yes. Yes. I think yes. I wrote this album very much so in love. Very much so in love. Yes. Yeah. And I understand that that could be challenged in some of the songs. I get that. But I think the reality is challenging a lot of my relational patterns and how I've shown up before, and it hasn't worked out for me. And I've learned a lot, and I've wanted to learn a lot about like what I've contributed to the things in my life that haven't panned out, and then also holding a line for myself. I think the song I'm most proud of on this record, maybe other than Sorry Mom, is a song called Beg for Your Love, which we're going to play for you. And it's because it's the step after Leave Me Again. Leave Me Again is saying, okay, all right, I get it. I surrender. I've learned. I'm never gonna do this again. And then Beg for Your Love is having to hold that line when it's really hard because you don't really want, you love this person. You don't want to, you know? And I think that's a really important moment. But then you work past it. And then and that's the beautiful part of it. There is resolution by the end of the album. But yeah, I think it's a journey. And I think every relationship is, whether it's crammed into 2 years or 2 months or 25 years, you know? I think everyone goes on their journey. And for me, it's always the search of growth and the search of steadiness and the search of betterment. And really the search of sustainability and safety. And I think that's really the heart of the love of this record. Yeah.
All right. Do you guys want to hear some of your questions? All right. Elena asks, what is the toughest part about starting a new album?
Starting it. It's writing that first song. And even it's even just writing a song and just I wish that I could just sit down and be like, Kelsey, write a song. Here's a timer, 30 minutes. It can be a joke. Just make it rhyme, put it to your guitar, say that you wrote a song. And sometimes it is just the hardest thing to rip that Band-Aid to just make yourself write the first song. And so the first song that we wrote for this record was this time last year. And that was our entryway into the world, which is now like the last track, which is funny, but yeah, it's the hardest part.
Yeah, that facing that blank page or the blank voice memo, whatever it is.
Or just looking at the guitar and you're like, what you got? Speak to me.
Relatedly, somebody who just signed it with a smiley face said, how do you collect and organize your creative inspo and song concepts? Voice memos, iPhone notes. Are you a messy creative or organized?
I either go to a word or a phrase that I'm like, this will be a song title or like a really strong hook, and I'll put it in my notes, or a melody that I'll put in my voice notes. So, yeah, it's pretty clean. And then I organize it afterwards in like Dropbox, and then I'll send it to Elisa, and I'm like, this is for this week, this is for next week, and she's like, shut up. Yeah, so it's pretty organized. And I would say also this record, in particular with Patterns, if I was in the room with these women 4 years ago even, with a couple hits under my belt, I would have been quiet. I would have let them lead, because in my brain, I want to honor them. And what I've learned now, somehow through age or whatever, is like, I also want to honor me, and a good collaborator is someone who like wants to come in and lift you up and help you say what you want to say. And these women not only helped me make this record, but they let me lead. And they didn't just let me lead, they made me lead. Yes. And so every title, every concept came from me, and I brought it in, whether it was a fully fleshed out chorus or just like Sorry Mom was just a title I had, and then we came in and we talked about it, you know. Baggage, I had the chorus, I brought it in. So it just depended, but they really, it was my DNA and my fingerprints, and then we walked life together and we all filled it in together. Yeah.
Do you think you'll carry that confidence to your next project?
I hope so. I mean, I don't know when I'm still writing now because like 15 songs is not enough. What are we talking about? But I think by the time I make a new record, who knows where I'll be in my life. I don't know.
Well, here's somebody who is hoping that they will get you on the other side of the world. They say, would you ever do an Aussie tour? And they traveled from Australia to be here tonight, and they drew a little picture of a kangaroo.
Oh my God. You're a very good artist. That kangaroo is really good. Am I allowed? Can I go back? Are you gonna let me in? Can I go? I love Australia, and I have not been in a couple years, but I mean, I have spent a lot of time there, and I definitely would love to go back. So I feel like the first step is doing this first chunk of the U.S. Big Girl Tour, and then I would love to go back to UK and Europe and Australia for sure. Yes. Good day. Thank you for being here.
Megan asks, we can imagine that touring can get stressful and overwhelming at times. What are your go-to strategies for managing your emotions and staying grounded while on tour? P.S. She just got a subject to change tattoo.
I want to see it. Where are you? Where? Oh my God. And your mom doesn't know.
Sorry, Mom.
Sorry, Mom. The irony. That's amazing. Thank you. What was the question? I'm so sorry.
What are your strategies to recharge when you're on tour and other stressful situations like that? Paraphrase.
I will say I have not toured a lot this year, and I needed that. I really did. I needed that. I missed it a lot because I think making music for yourself is one thing, and I think that is beautiful in its own right. But then the point is to share it, and there's no better feeling as a fan going to shows. Went to the Brat tour, Sweat tour, a couple weeks ago. Felt the same way. Where you're in a room, whether it's Stapleton or the Sweat tour, and you are just feeling connected either to yourself or to the people that you're with or the artist on stage. There's a buzz in the room and an energy exchange in the room, and it makes you feel connected. And we all need that, no matter what you're going through in your life. Like there's some part of that we all need is just like human beings. We crave connection. And so I have missed that. And I wanted to make a record that would cater to putting on a show that would like make people feel connected to themselves, to their friends, or to us on stage, whatever it could be. And so I don't know what it's going to look like touring next year. I think we're doing 40 shows. And it's the most I've ever done. It's a big show. And I want to do it right every night for you. And so I will answer that question summer of next year. I don't know. I really don't know. Throat coat and some good footy pajamas.
No, but you know, I remember talking to Phineas one time, Billie Eilish's brother and producing partner, and he said, you know, when he's on stage, he will sometimes be able to look out and see a moment in the audience when two people, you know, probably close to the stage are singing the song to each other. And he has the realization, like, this is their song. This is it. This is that moment for them. And that's, you know, to him as an artist, that's like a really meaningful thing to witness, to see how these things reverberate. So one of our audience members here asks, what song are you most excited to have the audience's reaction to on the album?
Oh man.
Julie. Thank you for that question, Julie.
Thank you, Julie. I think as far as the upbeat fun moment in the show, it'd be We Broke Up. That one we have made very fun for the show. And then I think for the heartfelt big sing-along where we can kind of scream, cry, and throw up together, I would say Beg for Your Love. It's a really tender moment in the show. And yeah, and I wasn't planning on singing it. It was kind of like Secondhand Smoke to me. That's a song on my first album. It was very emotional for me and still is. And I never sang it. I think maybe I sang it once. And that was my intention with Beg for Your Love. But we're doing a one night only show where I'm playing the whole album. So we're playing the songs. So and we're playing it tonight. So never mind.
I'll leave you with this thought, and then I bet you guys are ready to hear some music, right? A couple of people have asked, what is your advice for younger artists? What impact do you hope to have on younger generations, especially female singer-songwriters?
Oof, it's a big question. I think, a lot. I could talk a long time on this, but I think there is no one that can tell you what is right for you other than you. And there are people that can help guide you, and there are people that can help advise you, and you should have people around you that you trust to listen to. That is so important. But there is nothing more important than trusting yourself and your gut. And if you don't have that relationship with yourself, it's going to be harder. And that doesn't mean it's not going to work. It could be the biggest thing in the world, but it's going to be harder. And I've had moments of ebbing and flowing with that. And the harder moments are when I'm not connected to myself and I don't trust myself. And so I would say managing that relationship and prioritizing it, and knowing that sometimes saying no is saying yes to the right thing, and pissing people off, it's okay.
Do it.
It's okay.
That's our.
Yeah.
I think should that be our takeaway for the night? Sometimes you gotta piss people off.
And that's okay. You're amazing. Thank you for doing this.
Thank you so much. It was so delightful. Thank you guys. You've been a great audience. Kelsea Ballerini, everybody.